Bonjour. So in this video, I'm going to introduce to you the assessment for this unit. And we're starting it early because it's a project that I want you to work on each week. And then you'll submit it at the end of the unit. So this unit is called À la mode. It is unit 5. So we've had 4 units before. This is unit 5. It's called À la mode, which means fashion. So it's all about fashion, clothing, and that's where we've taken it from the textbook as well. So in this video, I want to talk to you a little bit about what the project is, when it's due, what are your expectations, and I am recording this right now, so I don't know why I have that. So I'm going to share with you now the task sheet, which you will have access to on PowerSchool in the assignment block. So the title is Qu'est-ce qu'on porte en pom pom pom? What do we wear in pom pom pom? So you are going to create and deliver a presentation in French of the clothing of a Francophone country. A Francophone country is a French-speaking country. It's a place that French is the official language or very like high up their language. I don't know how else to say it. If you're in the classroom, then you will see one of our maps has lots of countries in red or in pink where it's either the official or secondary language of that country. So I'm going to give you a list that you can choose from to focus your research and to focus your study throughout this unit. So your presentation, you're going to present either you can do it as a poster or you can do it on some kind of PowerPoint, Google Slides, digital poster, however you want. Just like we did in this last unit with Chez Moi and La Maison de Rêve, the dream home, you chose which way you did. You're going to have that same choice. So in your presentation, because this is going to take you a little bit longer, you're going to work on it each week, just a little bit each week on Wednesdays. Your Wednesdays are days that you're going to be working on the project. These are the things that I want you to include in your presentation, okay? So I've done it kind of as if you're doing slides, because most of you, I'd say like 95% of you are probably going to do it as a digital presentation. So you should have the name of your chosen country and your name, who you are. Indicate on a map where your chosen country is, because for a lot of us, our geography is not great. And some of these countries you may not have even heard of before, and you might not be sure of. So I want you to have one of your slides, it's like a map, and kind of zero in on where that country is. Keep it simple because you're going to do it in French. And then you can have 3 slides, so from this point, as many slides as you want, with pictures and simple sentences to describe the clothing in your chosen country. Now, right from the beginning in week 1, you're going to be like, I don't know how to describe clothing. But the whole unit is on clothing. So as you progress and as you learn more throughout the unit, week after week, you'll find this easier and easier to do. Okay. So you are going to have pictures from the clothing for that country for men and women, even for kids, traditional clothing, modern clothing, all of it. You may choose to also, this is like, not may choose, I would like you also to compare a little bit to USA clothing. So what would somebody in, for example, we have Switzerland, wear compared to the equivalent in America? And so you have like a slide or 2 on comparing to US clothing. And then the last thing, your final slide. So there's no set number of slides. You've got a minimum of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So a minimum of 5. But where it says 3+, some of you might have 10, 15, like that's up to you, how much research you do, how detailed you go. The more detail, the more research, the better the grade, generally. In your last slide, you are going to ask one question to your classmates to quiz them on their listening skills. So as you're presenting and you're telling people, and this is going to be for everybody to watch and listen to, we want to check that people are listening to you and paying attention to the country that you've chosen. So you can ask a question, a comprehension question based on what you just said. So your question could be vrai, faux, multiple choice, one-word answer, up to you. In this assessment, we're going to look at the rubric. In this video, you're going to be assessed in your writing and speaking, just like you were for the dream home. So keep it simple. You should be able to present in French without reading off the screen. But again, only the writing grade is going to go in the grade book or affect your overall weighting. Okay, so by the end of this next 6-week period, you'll have another indication of how your speaking is. And you'll have another assessment on your writing skills. So that's what you need to include. And these are the Francophone countries you can choose from. So you can choose from Suisse, Belgique, Senegal, Haiti, and Madagascar. Notice I've left France off the list because that's going to be an example that I give. That's kind of more like what will come up in the throughout the unit. So I would like to see something from a different country, a different French-speaking country. Of course, if you want to go something different off that list, you need to get that approved by the teacher. So that is your task. I'm recording this video for you in advance so that I'm kind of explaining the task to you and you can go back and watch it as often as you need to. I also want to share with you the rubric so you know how you'll be graded. I'm going to share firstly the writing because this is what will affect your grade the most. If you look, it is the rubric that we used with the dream home. So you are familiar with it. I don't want to throw you a different, like there's no other rubric for French 1. So are you writing on your slides in simple sentences, incorporating words that you're learning? So as you go through week by week, you're going to be learning more vocab, more grammar. I want you to use that each week as you're learning it and put it into your presentation. Okay. Is your writing understandable? It needs to be in your own words, no Google Translate. And then this impact is, are you addressing the presentation requirements? So have you checked off all of those boxes? Are you missing a map? Are you missing the quiz question at the end? Is it engaging to the audience as they're listening to you? Or as they're kind of looking at it, have you got their attention? Is it organized? Are you submitting on time? Does it flow in a sequence of events, or does it not really make sense as you're kind of like talking about this over here and that over there? To think about the organization of your presentation by the end. And then detail. So you know how I talked about detail, 5 slides minimum. Is it very organized and detailed, or not so much going down and down the list? So don't do base minimum. Don't rush it at the end and submit it late. You can have every Wednesday to work on this. So you have 6 Wednesdays plus a few extra lessons here or there. Okay. That is the grade that will go in the grade book that will affect it the most, but you are also going to be presenting this in French. So I'm also going to give you a guiding grade. Again, this is the same as Unit 4, speaking in simple sentences, using the words that we already know. The only thing that will be different will be if you research, for example, the traditional clothing in Madagascar and it's a new word that hasn't come up in the textbook. That may well happen because it's very specific to Madagascar. That's okay. That's still recently learned words specific from your research. So we're going to focus a lot on here. Comprehension are you understandable when you're speaking? Even if you're making mistakes, even if you're hesitating, even if you go back and repeat something to clarify, all of that looks wonderful. It's not a conversation, so we're not grading this last category. Okay, so there'll be another video or 2 to come, hopefully, if I haven't had the baby. And I hope you have fun with this. We did this project last year, but not as a final unit project. We did it just as a small little one-off. So I know that it's simple and I know that it's straightforward for you to do, and it's fun because you get to learn about a different country which you may not have learned about before, and you get to share that knowledge. So it's culture as well as language with other people. So we're all learning something. So have fun. Over.